My name is Tiffany LaVon Harris. Little Lawrence is my son, my only son, my only child. I remember when I had him, I took 16 hours in labor. I was sitting there first when they get past me, and when he looked at me, I'll never forget this, he smiled. And he grabbed my hand, and he tied my hand real tight, and I just was like, you ain't never gonna leave me. You're gonna always have your mommy back, right? So, without him, I'm broke.
Operator 1988, where is your emergency?
Somebody just got shot on Sutter between Ross and Union.
You're in Brooklyn?
Yes, Brooklyn.
On June 28, 2012, on Sutter Avenue, between Union Street and Ralph Avenue.
No, go to Union Street. Union Street and Ralph. Union Street and Ralph. Union Street.
There were as many as 100 people on the block.
Somebody shot in the heart and another one is shot in the leg.
It was a total panic.
The person that shot, have you have a description?
No, miss, I don't know.
In the end, 3 people were struck. Tragically, Trenton Franklin was killed. And there was no ballistics evidence apart from the bullet that was recovered from Mr. Franklin's body. After the shots rang out and everyone began running, Officer Mastoros focused on one person in particular, 18-year-old Quintal Davis. Mr. Davis seemed to be the main suspect immediately following the shooting. He was arrested. He was held at the precinct for at least 18 hours.
Lengthy interrogations have been found to be really problematic with young people. And it's just because they don't have the endurance to stand up to these sort of tactics for a prolonged period of time.
Do you say your name?
Quintal Davis.
Swear or affirm that the statement you were about to give is the truth?
Yes.
It's done with the suspect isolated, fearful, in circumstances designed to create stress, anxiety, and eventually desperation. Because you take someone, typically who is a suspect himself, and you convince him, we're not going to believe you if you just say you don't know anything about it. But if you just accuse somebody else, things won't be so bad, because pointing a finger at someone else, it's not going to get you less punishment. It's typically going to get you 0 punishment.
First, I walked across the street. I took the gun out of his pocket and he started shooting.
Detective Trischetti testified. He showed Mr. Davis a photo array at the 73rd Precinct. Mr. Davis picked out Mr. Harris in position number 2. Patrick Scully was the people's sole eyewitness at both trials. Mr. Scully called 911 the night of the shooting, and about 2 days later, he told Detective Daniel Romano, "I was in my apartment, I heard shots, and I came downstairs." More than 9 months later, he denied speaking to a female officer, and he testified that he had witnessed the shooting.
Have your name, please, sir?
Patrick Scully.
Do you, Patrick Scully, swear or affirm that the statement you're about to give is the truth?
Yeah, I did. Now, all of a sudden, he just pulled his gun and started shooting. Run towards the crowd and just shooting through the crowd. And Trey got shot. And at the same time, I saw Junior got shot, hit in the back.
Scully never gave a description of the shooter, but he said that the shooter was not too dark, not too light, that he couldn't say what the shooter was wearing. He couldn't say if the shooter had tattoos. Both Scully and Davis viewed a lineup. They both separately identified Mr. Harris in position number 6. Harris then was placed under arrest.
We call that a repeated identification, and what it does is it actually unblinds the witness. So like the only person who's remaining the same from the first identification procedure to the second identification procedure is the suspect. All the fillers change.
Every time you show someone a photograph of a person, their brain is going to form a connection between that person's face and the context of the crime.
Mr. Harris was first tried in November 2015. That trial ended in a mistrial. Mr. Harris was tried again in May 2016. At the first trial, Mr. Davis answered the prosecutor's first half-dozen questions, and then he abruptly invoked his Fifth Amendment right to silence. He was later prosecuted for perjury. At the second trial, Mr. Davis was totally uncooperative on the stand. He testified that he could recall nothing about the incident. The people's case rested on the eyewitness testimony of Mr. Scully, but his story was wildly inconsistent, and it morphed over time.
One of the most powerful pieces of evidence that a jury can hear is an eyewitness saying, "That's the guy right there," pointing him out.
If we're talking about a case where the only evidence is a suspicious accusation and an eyewitness, we are talking about an extremely thin case, one that I would be very concerned about.
Mr. Harris was convicted of murder in the second degree and related charges and sentenced to 25 years to life.
Sometimes I have to remember that my father's alive, but it just feels like he's not, because I feel like I don't have one. So when I was at the father-daughter dance and watched everybody with their dads and stuff like that, my grandfather tried to make the best out of it, make me, happy, make me dance. It just made me feel bad. Like, I felt weird. Like, I felt out of place, and I didn't feel like I belonged, because I just felt like, what's the point of me being at a father-daughter dance if I don't have a dad?
I feel like I failed her a lot being in here. She's about to turn 18 this year. I feel like I just need to hurry up and get home to her. Like, I feel like it's never too late.
On Christmas when I was younger, I used to have an imagination that one of those gifts that was wrapped up, my dad was in it, he was gonna come out the box and be there for Christmas.
I just feel like if I was there, everything would have been like much better.
A memory that I do remember from when I was younger is when my dad took me to the movies. This was his first time like taking me by himself.
I took her out by myself for the first time. I was so scared. I took her to the movies downtown Brooklyn.
And I remember I wasn't listening and I was being a little crybaby or whatever.
It was just like how much like she needed me, how needy she was for me that day, and like daddy, and how like protected I had to be over like an individual, like I had never had to be in my life before. It was like one of my favorite days. That girl, that's my baby. Like that's my. Now I understand like how my mother felt about me and the way she looked at me and was so much on me, like how she was, and like that love in her eyes. Like that's my baby.
Anything I could say to him? I love you. I adore you. You are my baby boy. You're gonna always be my baby boy. And we're gonna get through this. My baby is innocent. My baby is innocent.